Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Hundreds of people have attended a funeral procession held for 2 Palestinians killed by Israeli security forces, suspected of carrying out a shooting attack against police earlier this week. The military said Israeli forces raided the occupied West Bank town of Nablus, and both men were killed following an exchange of fire. Meanwhile, Israelis laid to rest a soldier shot by a Palestinian gunman near a settlement in the occupied West Bank. Shiloh Yosef Amir was killed in an attack the Hamas militant group said it carried out in response to a 2-day raid this week in Jenin. The gunman fired at security forces who had stopped to inspect his vehicle near the Palestinian city of Nablus. The UN humanitarian coordinator in South Sudan has released $8 million for the humanitarian fund to provide life-saving assistance to the 150,000 people in the country who have fled the conflict in Sudan. The UN's Humanitarian Affairs Office has said the number of arrivals is projected to increase as the crisis continues. Onward transportation of South Sudanese returnees and Sudanese refugees from transit sites remains a significant challenge due to the combination of poor road infrastructure and insecurity in some areas. Police are continuing to question a woman over a car crash at a school which killed an 8-year-old girl, as floral tributes are laid at the scene. 12 people were taken to hospital after a Land Rover crashed into the study preparatory school in Wimbledon in London. The woman in her 40s remains in custody, having been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. The force has said it is not treating the crash as terror-related. Heavy rainfall and flash flooding has hit Zaragoza in Spain, leaving streets flooded and vehicles stranded on roads. Videos shared by an eyewitness showed water gushing rapidly on a road and partially submerging vehicles. An orange rain alert was issued, but the regional emergency services did not report any injuries or deaths. Heavy rain with hailstones was seen in another video from Zaragoza in northeast Spain. Police warned residents to avoid unnecessary travel and not to drive through flooded areas. The Brazilian government says deforestation in the Amazon rainforest fell by 33.6% in the first 6 months of President Lula da Silva's term, compared with the same period the year before. The released government satellite data has not been independently verified. Lula has pledged to end deforestation or forest clearance by 2030. Twitter is considering legal action against Meta over its fast-growing rival Threads. The app, which launched to millions on Wednesday, is similar to Twitter and has been pitched by Meta bosses as a friendly alternative. Twitter's Elon Musk said competition is fine, cheating is not. But Meta denied the claims that in a legal letter were made that ex-Twitter staff had helped create Threads. According to Meta, more than 30 million people have signed up for the new app.
It seems very timely, and I'm sure they've been working on it for quite some time, but this was perfect timing. With just the latest sort of little fiasco on Twitter with Musk rate limiting users and all that stuff. So yeah, the timing was perfect. And so it's not too much of a surprise.
They have very intelligently recognized that they can port over, essentially shift over existing Instagram users to this new service, right? This new application. And that's quite intelligent because basically the networks we already have and those we already follow or engage with on a platform like Instagram can be quickly, brought into bear rather than having to create a so-called ecosystem of users from the start.
And a drone flight shortly after daybreak has given a rare glimpse of the sights of London that the statue of Lord Horatio Nelson looks out on every day. The statue of Nelson, commemorated for his 1805 victory against the French and Spanish fleets at the Battle of Trafalgar, sits atop a column in central London, his head some 51 metres above street level. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.